Episode 168. The team members logged off, one after another, rising from their seats. Those on good terms left in small groups. Some noticed their captain remained seated, unmoving, but none of them went over to ask. In moments, only Wang Jiexi remained in the training room. He logged back into the game. As expected, his teammates had all logged off. Seeing that they didn't seem to be in a match either, Yi Xiu closed the room. Everyone jumped back to the arena selection screen. After exiting, Wang Jiexi returned to the game, appearing just outside the arena's entrance. He looked over and saw Lord Grimm chatting with their Herb Gardens chariot.
Hey, thanks for the hard work. How much of that material stock do you have left?
As Wang Jiexi's blazing embers stepped forward, he heard Yi Xiu ask the question. One can imagine how frustrated Carrot was at that moment. He stammered, at a complete loss for words. Suddenly, he saw the character of the great god Jiexi approaching and instinctively stepped aside. Yi Xiu saw it too.
Oh, you're still here.
Yeah.
So, pretty good for morale, huh?
Wouldn't it be even more inspiring if you just let me win?
I don't want to use either. Right, nobody wants to lose. Yeah, losing costs materials.
Hearing Ye Qiu say this, Wang Jiexi was once again left speechless. He had genuinely never linked victory or defeat to these materials. Whether the materials were a win or a profit, he didn't give it a second thought. But this person before him was supposed to be a top-tier god-level player, his equal. In terms of legacy, he was even more formidable. Yet now, he was haggling over such a trivial bit of material. If this had happened earlier, Wang Jiexi would have inevitably felt a sense of a hero reaching his end. But once he saw through Yi Xiu's need for materials and his intent to nurture new talent, Wang Jiexi knew any lament for a hero's twilight was utterly misplaced.
Our team members will come to find you every night.
Welcome. The usual rules apply.
For Chechuangji's supplies, do your best to provide them.
I'll put in a word.
Right, Chechuangji agreed. Most of the materials they'd gathered were supplied to the club anyway, ultimately to serve the team. Now that he saw the great god Wang Jiexi had spoken, Chechuangji didn't feel so heartbroken about it anymore. After all, the items were never really his to begin with. But just who is this Lord Grimm anyway? Chechuangji's curiosity was growing by the minute. Judging by the way this person spoke to the great god Jiexi, they seemed to know each other, but not all that well. Who could this person be? Could it be that Wang Jiexi's single sentence had interrupted Chechuangji's train of thought? All right, I'll log off first.
Really? You're logging off already? The dungeon's about to reset. Not gonna run it.
Good luck.
Wang Jiexi said. He doesn't have that kind of time to waste on low-level dungeons.
Go back and tell your team to grind levels properly.
I'm putting in over 10 hours a day on this. If you fall too far behind by then, don't blame me.
That really is a problem. Wang Jiexi didn't reply. He logged off, mulling it over as he went. They're a pro team leveling up a low-level alt. That's just a massive waste of time. Looks like we'll need to hire a power leveler to boost these alt accounts. All that effort, gathering materials, hiring a leveler. And in the end, all he wanted was to lose a match to Lord Grimm. After sorting through his thoughts, Wang Jiexi found himself caught between laughter and tears. And that wasn't all. They're even providing sparring partners on the side. Zisiqiu, his business dealings are a surefire win.
But aside from finding a rare sparring partner on this trip, we made a rather unexpected discovery.
Wang Jiexi sat in the training room, lost in thought for another moment before finally leaving. The time for the evening boss run had arrived once more, even though Wang Jiexi had said only 2 people needed to come each day. That night, the entire Tiny Herb team showed up again. Wang Jiexi naturally wouldn't nitpick or reprimand such enthusiastic attitudes. It was just poor Chechuangji who suffered for it. He did the math. Yesterday's round of matches between Team Tiny Herb and Lord Grimm had already cost them a fortune in materials. If the team kept losing like this, their herb hall stockpile could only last another 4 days. Even if they factored in the next 4 days' income, that would only stretch it to 5. This is just a new server, and Lord Grimm is demanding all those rare materials. It's only because it's Herb Garden that we can hold out for 4 or 5 days. If it were a casual guild set up by ordinary players, they wouldn't even be able to afford a single run. Those guilds lack a proper management system. All the loot from dungeons is just rolled for randomly and pocketed by whoever wins. So what does the guild get out of it? It's only these club-backed guilds that have a mature system of management and operation. They use a series of measures to conduct an equivalent exchange with their players, allowing both sides to get what they need. Otherwise, players are here to have fun, not to work as slaves. Why should they obediently hand over everything they get from a dungeon to their guild? At that moment, Qi Xuanzi looked over and saw that the entire Herb Garden team had once again come for a sightseeing tour. He had no one to complain to, so he could only step up his market trading and acquisitions while praying the team would perform better today and not lose endlessly. And since Yishu had come with Tang Ru again, the routine remained the same: Tang Ru first, then Yishu. Yesterday, everyone had been too focused on fighting. They hadn't even added each other as friends. Today, they were quite polite and even added each other as friends. Some of the tiny herb players showed the proper respect due to a senior, and the whole scene was quite amicable. While watching the match, Tang Ru, who had just lost, suddenly received a message. She opened it to find it was from that gunner called Fallen Angel.
Hey, just watching these matches gets old. How about you and I go play a few rounds?
Chang'e readily agreed. She followed Liu Fai out of the room. After the two of them created the dual room, Tang Ru saw that others had actually followed them in to spectate. She recognized the name Blazing Flames End and figured he was probably the leader of their little group. The countdown ended, and the two of them began to fight. Tang Ru had it even worse than Team Tiny Herb yesterday. She lost all 11 matches without a single opponent going easy on her, while the skill levels of Team Tiny Herb's players varied. But dealing with Tang Ru was more than enough. Of the 11 fights, only the one against Qiao Yifan's Glorious Moon dragged on a bit. The other 10 were all wrapped up in about a minute flat. These guys were all in a hurry to challenge Lord Grimm, so they showed Tang Ru no mercy. Tang Ru knew her current opponent was also a woman. Just the day before yesterday, Ye Xiu had led them to give her a sound thrashing, but now, going up for a one-on-one, I was being completely suppressed at every turn. This feeling was almost identical to the first time he dueled Ye Xiu, 1 minute 47 seconds. This was Tang Ru's time of defeat. She had lasted 20 seconds longer than yesterday. She remembered it so clearly because she had recorded every single match from yesterday. After finishing the dungeon run late into the night, Ye Qiu had analyzed every single match for her, pointing out numerous flaws. Tang Rou had been eagerly looking forward to another round of competition tonight. Having just lost the previous match, Tang Ru could see her own improvement in how long she'd lasted. The only problem was, after their match, they'd immediately rush off to find Ye Xiu, and their fights with Ye Qiu never ended as quickly as the ones with Tang Ru. Tang Ru had to wait on the sidelines for quite a while. This time, the gunner girl actually came over to challenge her first. Tang Ru couldn't have asked for more. In the end, though, Tang Ru still lost. But with Yi Qiu's analysis from yesterday, Tang Ru could now spot many of the issues herself. The frustrating part was, she was always wise after the event. Only after a whole exchange had passed would she suddenly realize, oh, that was wrong just now. I shouldn't have done it like that. Clearly, putting theory into practice isn't so easy.
Again.
Another match ends. 1 minute and 50 seconds. Not much different from the last one.
Again.
This time, it was Tang Ru who initiated the challenge, defeated in 1 minute and 44 seconds.
You fought pretty well too.
As that's supposed to be comforting, Chang Ru could only sigh helplessly. She didn't want any words of consolation. She wanted to hear them only after she had won.
My turn over there. I'm heading out.
By the time Chang Ru responded, Liu Fei had already hurriedly left the room. Chang Ru's reply echoed in the empty arena. Chang Ru suddenly felt a deep sense of loss. This feeling of being completely disregarded was truly awful.
That was a pretty good fight.
Suddenly, another voice rang out. Chang Ru turned her gaze and saw that blazing flame, Li Yan, had actually entered the competition arena.
If you don't mind me asking, what's your name, miss? Your real one, I mean.
Chang Ru,
Oh, how about we give it a try?
alright. The strongest player on the opposing team was actually volunteering to fight her. Chang Ru found that a bit surprising.